Not going to lie to you, I find it very difficult to have anything to complain about at this point. We're solidly in the top half of the table. We're in the playoff places at the moment, in fact. We're playing some decent football when we are. Maybe a bit of a problem with scoring, but we are doing pretty well. But today we have a game against fierce rivals, Bolton Wanderers. Tranmere fans, help me out. Why is it fierce? I don't know. I don't know these things. How you doing, everybody, and welcome to part 9 of Club 2 here on My Career on Football Manager 2023. I'm Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video where we're going to be playing against Bolton Wanderers, our fierce rivals, Bolton Wanderers, and then we're going to be having a slightly less energetic encounter against Port Vale in League One. Yeah, I don't understand. I'm an Aston Villa fan. I know who our rivals are. I know the big Premier League rivals. Outside of that, I'm not quite as knowledgeable. So, Tranmere Rovers fans, or Bolton fans, let me know what the fierce dislike is, because I did a quick search on Wikipedia and that didn't really bring up anything either, so it is what it is. But what we're here for is the fact that we're playing against Bolton today and against Port Vale, and if you are excited to see this heated battle and the slightly tepid one to come afterwards, then please do leave a like on the video for me and subscribe so you never miss any lovely Football Manager content from this face right here. By this point you'll know that I'm moving house. The move has obviously not happened yet. Oh boy, you'll know when it does. But yeah, we're still in the old place at the moment, but the move is happening next week. But yes, so since you were last with us, we have done very, very well indeed. We're currently 3rd in the league. Although it's quite close, to be fair. I mean, one loss and we could be in 8th, 9th, 10th, depending on our goal difference. We could be further way down there. But we are looking good for a mid-table finish, it has to be said. But the form has been very good. We did play those first couple of games in the league that you saw. We played Cheltenham, we played Sheffield Wednesday. Pretending the Wigan one didn't happen, but we won both of those. We then won the next 3 on the bounce. We beat Leyton Orient, we beat Bristol Rovers 2-0, 2-0. Josh Phillips getting all of the goals. We then beat Aston Villa with a heavily rotated team. Zach Emerson getting his first goal back at the club. And then we had a bit of a wobble. We were at 5 games without a win, which was a bit concerning. All of them in the league. Oxford United beat us 1-0. We lost against Birmingham 2-1. Not too worried about the Birmingham one. They have just been relegated, even though it's Birmingham. Reading, I think of them as a Championship or Premier League club, so I don't mind drawing against them. Bradford City, that one stung a bit, if I'm being honest. Then we got a draw against Grimsby Town. But since then, everything's coming up Millhouse. A win against Shrewsbury in the EFL Trophy, 2-1. We made it look a little bit more difficult than it should have been, but that got us through the EFL Trophy, so we've got one more group game left, but actually we're already through. And then we beat Stockport County and Swindon Town. I don't know why I said them in reverse order, but I did. We battered Swindon Town. Did concede a couple of sloppy goals, but we also did beat Stockport County 1-0 thanks to James Balagizi getting one of his only goals, if not his only goal. I think it's his only goal, actually. Well, there you go. I was tempted to bring you back for the Stockport County game, and I kind of wish I did, actually, because it was an entertaining 1-0, but we're going to come back for Bolton and Port Vale instead. But as you can see, goal-scoring-wise, Josh Phillips has got a few. Zach Emerson's chipped in with a couple as well. Ben Knight's in there with 1 or 2. The team is playing well, but we do seem to have a bit of a problem with actually putting the ball in the back of the net. It is a bit of a struggle at times. I mean, as I say that, to be fair, you can see the scores. We have scored a few goals. I think I'm still thinking we're going to be the best team in the league like we have been in some of the seasons that we've had where we've been free scoring, but it is not the case. One thing we have done, though, at least temporarily, is we've gone back to 2 strikers up front. We just seem to get a bit better in terms of goals and stuff with this formation, even though in pre-season it was definitely the 2 attacking midfielders that was doing it. But Emerson and Phillips definitely work together as a partnership, he says, when Phillips had a terrible game last time out. It's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one. I think we're going to switch between the 2 as the season goes on, but we're going to go with this one for the game against... But do we go with this one for the game against Bolton? Yeah, do you know what? We are going to go for this one in the game against Bolton. In terms of transfers, I'm trying to think if anything else happens. All of these transfers, ignore all of them. They're all under 21 transfers because we have now got our first ever shiny new under 21s team. It is absolutely awful for the most part. There's some good players in here, but there's some dross in here as well because we've just had to fill the squad out. Same with the under 18s. We've had to fill, well, the under 18s has been absolutely ramsacked to the point where I've changed their formation to a 4-4-2. But it's been absolutely ramsacked. But this one looks a bit better. But a lot of the players in here are 18, 19, 20, so we do need to probably trim this. Obviously, we'll be having a youth recruitment in the well, we're having that in December, and then we'll have the players come in towards the end of the season. But that's how that is looking. So we've got an under-21 squad, which is very, very exciting. So ignore all of those players. I'm just trying to think who else came in when it comes to transfers. So let's have a look. So we did have a few players come in, actually. So I think Remy Matthews had already come in. So Finley Pollock joined us on deadline day from Hearts. He is he's a young player. He's 21 years old. Development's not going particularly good. Brought him in as a rotation player, and Hearts are quite happy for him to be an impact sub. I've not really been using him as that, although he has played all right when we've used him. Mainly been playing in the under-21s, if I'm honest, but he's got a decent amount of potential. We also brought in this guy. He, again, was just a youngster to bring in, 18 years old. Got a decent amount, I think he did have a decent amount of potential. He definitely doesn't now, but he just came in to be someone to fill in the squad. And then I brought in this guy, Lewis Kumas from Watford, formerly, I think, of Liverpool, Yes, formerly of Liverpool. 20 years old. He's got a bag of potential. He could be a championship player. He was over at Dartford. He's having a good season there at the moment. We bought him. We sent him back there on loan. He'll be back with us next season. And hopefully, I'm assuming we'll be in League One still. I really don't see us getting promoted this year. I think we're going to drop off heavily at some point. But when he does come to us, he should be League One ready, and he should do a good job for us. Can play in attacking midfield, can play in central midfield. He looks like a decent player. I don't think... Oh, Shane Flynn went out on loan as well. Finally. We've sent a bunch of the youngsters that we've got who have got decent potential out on loan as well. Right, enough of that nonsense. Let's get to this heated derby game. Is it a derby? I don't know. Game against Bolton, basically. And this is the 11 we're going to be using to hopefully get 3 points. It is a Okonkwo in goal. Kilgore, Barnes and Kapakpe. Is it going to be those three? Is it going to be those three? I'm having a bit of a doubt of myself. Bear me 2 seconds. Let me have a look. So 1 or 2 quick tweaks later, and I'm back. It's going to be a Okonkwo in goal. Hockenhall, Barnes and Kapakpe in defence. Lyons, Foster and Bristow as the wing-backs, with Shipley and Cotterill in the midfield, and Knight supporting Phillips and Emerson up front. We've got Ben Knight's been playing well as a shadow striker, so when we've moved this formation around, he's the one who's kept his place. Tommy Lee's on the bench as a backup striker and backup in that position. We've got Balagizi, and we've also got Daly as well, who can play in that holding midfield position. Matty Daly has predominantly been a backup D-line playmaker. Pi Forson's been forced out a little bit. He's not in the best of form at the moment, and Jordan Shipley has been good. Scored a banging free kick not that long ago. Looks like a decent player. Joel Cotterill as well, looking really, really sharp as well. So let's just get into the game, and let's just see what happens, and hopefully we'll have a lovely, lovely time beating Bolton. But if we don't beat them, I know Tranmere fans won't be very happy with it, but I've got to be honest with you. My priority is the season, not one game. Not one game. I know that that's probably going to lose me all of the Tranmere supporters, but one game doesn't matter. It's a sprint. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I got the saying wrong. Get into the game, shall we? And let's see whether we can get 3 points. We are away from home. I'm going to get the excuses in early. We are away from home. The tablet is very, very small. The reason it's very, very small is because I was playing the in-between bits on my laptop, so that obviously reset. I did, however, remember to change the camera back from 2D. Unagi. So let's see whether we can... I mean, at the moment, it's Bolton on the ball, which I don't really like. Bolton are a team that I think, being completely honest with us, we just let them in there completely. I just went silent then because I just saw how open we were. Surely Morley's just fouled our boy. Surely he has. I'm going to have to change the tablet in a minute. I'm going to have to pause and change that, which is going to give me more editing to do. Just because I've just seen how messy it looks. It looks very, very messy. Right, Emerson and Phillips cannot get on the end of that, which is frustrating. Benford now going to try and build out from the back, and here come Bolton. Bolton looking forward. We didn't get the ball out, which is frustrating, and Boljevic is in, has the shot, and he scores, and it's really frustrating because we had so many chances to take the ball off of him, and I am going to say I am not happy about that. I'm going to ask the boys to fire up. It is a team that we really want to be beating, and we have the kickoff, and hopefully we can do something about it. I am starting, if I'm honest, I am starting to think maybe 3 at the back. We need to start having to think about that at this level. It worked really well for us last season. It's worked well for us at the start of this year, but I actually at times think it does hinder us in certain areas. Like, for example, if we were using a 4-4-2 diamond, yes, we'd have one less central defender, but the wingers would... the fullbacks would be able to get forward still, and they'd still be able to provide a bit of cover because they have a better starting position defensively. And also, we'd have that extra holding midfielder in front of the defence. It just means there's one layer before you get to the defensive 3. Now, we could set the formation up so that the middle defender steps out, but I prefer having him cover if he's going to be there at all. So, it's a difficult one to kind of navigate. But I don't really know what to do on that, if I'm honest. I mean, I might just see it out because, again, we've got the players for it now. We've got enough defenders. Well, we've got enough players in every position to cover the 3 at the back. So it would be a bit of a gamble to try and change that formation now. I'm not going to change it now. It's something to think about for January, if I'm honest. Lyons Foster getting forward here, looking to whip the ball in, whips it in, looking for the header, Emerson, and Zach Emerson gets his 4th goal of the season. Right, the game is glitching out, and I'm not entirely sure why. Let me just quickly have a look at something. Just looking to see whether it glitches out on OBS as well as my computer, because on my computer, it's really not liking the game at the moment. I don't know why, but my computer has been kind of playing up a little bit since I turned it on today. But we'll watch this highlight. It's a wonderful highlight because it's us scoring an equaliser. Lyons Foster looks to whip it in. Because it might be I'm saying that it's glitching out and you haven't seen a thing. And that would be a little bit embarrassing, really, being completely honest. But at the moment, it looks absolutely fine. I mean, it looks great at the moment because that's us scoring a goal. And it's Zach Emerson scoring a goal. And I am here for that. I very much am here for that. However, it is Bolton now on the attack. I would very much like us to steal the ball off of them and go and score a goal of our own. That would be delicious. And we've stolen the ball off of them, and the ball now is to Phillips. Phillips now, can he hold it up, try and get it to Zach Emerson? Gets it to Ben Knight, actually. I got the players wrong, but Phillips is in the box here. He's going to try and hold it up, hopefully. Gets it back to Lyons Foster, whips it in, looking for the tall head of Zach Emerson, who puts us in the lead. The game seems to be working fine for us at the moment. I'm just going to hope that everything's fine. I am, to be fair, I have got a video in the background that is just being, is it rendered? I don't know, rendering, exported? Exported probably is the right thing. I'm waiting for it to just be properly put together by Shotcut, I have to admit. Right, I'm sorting this out because I keep forgetting to do it. Let's make sure that we've got the right things. Formation, team, table, boom, happy. But we lead, that's the main thing. I don't know what I was talking about. I got myself distracted. Yes, I've got a video editing in the background. So my computer, decent gaming PC. Cost me a few bob on, admittedly, Amazon. I'm not a PC builder, but I will say it probably is going to start struggling at some point in the future. I think it's a bit early for that, but it might start happening. Sam Barnes will just give a quick warning to just tell a few of these players to buck their ideas up. I'd like to see Josh Phillips do a little bit better. He does go anonymous every now and then. For a player who wants to be a Premier League player, I think he does need to get a little bit more consistency in his game. But I mean, he's just a very good striker. I'm very glad that we got him back. I'm very, very glad because some of those early games would have been a struggle without him. Zach Emerson getting on the ball here. He's 6'1", so he's not the tallest player in the world, but he's got enough height to cause himself a nuisance, and he's got enough pace about him as well for that combination just to be annoying. Shipley shaping up for a shot and hits the crossbar. I love Jordan Shipley. I loved him in my Coventry save that I never finished in FM22. He was an absolute god in that midfield in that Coventry side. And then I found out they sold him and I was very, very sad. But I'm very glad that we've got him here. He is just a lovely, lovely chap, I assume. I've never met him. But he comes across as a lovely, lovely chap in Football Manager. And that's the metric that I use with all footballers when I judge whether they're nice or not. Is whether I like them on Football Manager. I'm talking a load of waffle. Shipley now on the ball. Diving forward. Gets it to Ben Knight. Ben Knight now looking to get it out wide to Bristow. Bristow, who's not impressed us in recent games, gets it into Emerson. And Zach Emerson has scored a hat-trick, which I'm very, very happy about. Now, would you have scored the hat-trick with the 2 attacking midfielder formation, or did it have to be with the 2 strikers up front? I don't know. I don't know. You could argue that he'd have another defender over here if Phillips wasn't there, but Phillips actually has made the space for him, because this defender's worrying about Phillips, and Zach Emerson ends up with a bit more space as a result of it. So, although Phillips isn't actually playing that well, the presence of a player there is doing the work, and that maybe is the reason why Zach Emerson has a hat-trick here today. Lyons Foster, by the way, having a great game. He's had a few really good ones. Ben Knight's picked up a knock, so we are going to bring on Balagizi because he has played really decently well recently. I really should have put that lone kid on the bench because of impact sub. This would be a great time to bring him on. Tommy Lee's going to come on for Josh Phillips, who's not had a good game. We're going to bring Balagizi on in the attacking midfielder role. I'm going to leave him as a shadow striker because actually, although his finishing is, it's not trash, it's 9, but it's not very good, we'll leave him there because he can do a decent job there. And I think I might leave it there, although Cottrell is tiring, so is Jordan Shipley, he's having a good game. So I'll tell you what, Apaya Forson can come on. We'll have him as the ball winner. Can do well there, can do okay. Well, he's been there the majority of the season. I don't know why I'm saying it as if it's a surprise to anyone. But we'll go with that, and then I think Joe Cottrell will be one of the next or we will take off, I think. I don't know. I haven't fully decided. Speaking of which, let's do that now. They've had more chances than us today. They will be kicking themselves if they let this slip away from them. Daly's going to come on as the playmaker. And then I think, for my final trick, I'm going to rest Captain Sam Barnes. The vice-captain's on the pitch. So I'll bring Kilgore on. We'll swap him with Kapakpe. I'll put Kapakpe in the middle as the cover defender. Let's do that. Let's see the game out. Hopefully it's corner and Cottrell's going to take it. He's decent at these set pieces. He's not the best, but he's decent. And Sam Barnes, if Sam Barnes would have scored there, I think I'd have had to keep him on because that would have been excellent. Cottrell whips it in though, looking for Lee, and Lee heads it just over. It's a good opportunity for him. Again, can play really well as a shadow striker, but as a pressing forward as well, he's very impressive. Zach Emerson, I'm so impressed with him today because I was gearing up to say that since re-signing he's been a bit of a disappointment, but actually today he really has shown up in a huge game as well. Again, Bolton Wanderers used to being in League 1, League 2 in recent times, which is very sad. I remember when I was first getting into football in the early 2000s, they were a solid Premier League team for a long time. You had Sam Allardyce with his weird Bolton Galactico team. We had JJ Okocha, we had Fernando Hierro. He had is it Yuri Djukev? He had some ridiculous players in that team, and I just vaguely remember those players. And I remember Bolton being an absolute, like a mini superpower of a team. Like it's almost like Leicester, but not quite as good as Leicester. Like Leicester obviously were ridiculous, but he had all these players who were just utterly ridiculous. And just to see where they are now is quite sad. But when you consider Bolton are, I mean, they are. It's just really sad. I'm just going in circles here because I want to look at Bolton. I want to see how long it's been that they've been in the league that they have been in. So actually, in this universe, they made it back up to Championship. They lasted 2 seasons there. So they got promoted to they got promoted from League 1 in the first season of the game, Championship for a couple of years, and then this is their first year back in League 1. So we've just beaten a team that was in the Championship last season. Is that correct? Am I going... Is that actually correct? Yeah, Bolton. I mean, rock bottom. Wasn't exactly the most narrow... What am I trying to say? It was close, is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I couldn't think of my words there. It wasn't the most cut and dry relegation battle. They certainly weren't a million miles off the competition. Birmingham very unlucky to go down on the final day. But yeah, so I think when you consider that, I mean, the league table at the moment currently looks like this. Bolton are currently 16th. I think you have to say we're doing very, very well to be beating a team like that. Sam Barnes, second best player in the league. He was the best player in the league in League 2 last season. Lyons Foster, second on the list of assist makers. Clean sheets. I'm not very good at keeping clean sheets in this game, I have to say. But Okonkwo's got 5. He's only 2 behind the person who has the most. Connier Boyce Clark at the top of that. I think we have to consider that game as a success. 3-1 against Rivals. That'll do for me. Right. 4 days to go to the Port Vale game. I'm going to send some players on a little bit of a break just to get them a bit fresher. And I'll see you ready for the game that's probably less high stakes and is probably, no my luck, the one that we're going to lose. Back ready for the game against Port Vale. But before we do, something I did forget to mention to you in the last game. Well, a couple of things actually. Thing number 1, I have actually been given a new contract. A higher wage than I was on before. £1,700 a week. I was on £1,200 a week, I think, off the top of my head. With a decent promotion wage rise if we get promoted of 20%, which I will take. It takes us through to the end of the 2026-2027 season. Burp in the wrong place there. So we do have a bit of expensive relegation wage drop, but I don't think that's going to happen. Thing number 2 is, I don't know if it will say it on here. It does. Studying for a Continental Pro license. Yeah, boy. Sunday League football, that still kills me. But yeah, we are studying for our Continental Pro. Remember the rules of the save. The second we get Continental Pro, the second we can do proper training. At the moment, I'm just interfering every now and then, but I'm not changing the entire schedule. I'm just adding one thing here or there if I think we need to work on something. For example, finishing is a big one. I've added a bunch of chance conversions and I can't remember what the attacking thing is called. I'm going to have a look on here because I can't remember. Attacking movement. I've added a bunch of those in when I just felt like our strikers weren't scoring enough. And lo and behold, it has worked. So, unagi. But here is the 11 that we're going to be using for the game against bottom of the league, Port Vale. It's Okonkwo in goal, Hocken, Hull, Barnes and O'Brien in defence. Lyons, Foster and Bristow as the wing backs with Appiah, Forson and Cottrell in the middle. Knight as the shadow striker, supporting Phillips and Emerson up front. Very similar team to the one that we used last time out. Jake O'Brien comes in in defence. We're giving Kapakpe a little bit of a rest. I don't really know why I chose to do that, but I did. So let's see whether we can get another 3 points. That'd be splendid. I'd be very happy. Port Vale, bottom of the table. You would expect us to get a win against bottom of the table with how we've been playing and how they've been playing, but then they will be desperate for results and we might have a little bit of complacency sneaking in as well. So we'll just see what happens, shall we? Hopefully what happens is we get a win. Sod's law to me is that the easier game of the two in today's episode will be the one that we end up going and throwing away. But I mean, at the moment, it's looking very, very good. And remember as well, if we... It's ridiculous to talk about this. If we get a good run going to the point where we cement ourselves as a top 16, which is ridiculous, we sneak into the top 2, we get promoted. It's not one promotion place at the top of the league this year. We could get promoted by finishing second, which is definitely something that I'm interested in. Now, granted, last season there were 3 promotion places, automatic. Ben Hockenhull's gone and scored a goal. There were 3 promotion places as well as the playoff places. But we didn't have to worry about that because we were just running away with the league unexpectedly. Say unexpectedly. Relegated the season before, is it that unexpected? We weren't predicted to do that. We weren't predicted to do that at all. But then we're not predicted to be currently second in the league. I mean, I know it's only October, but still. We're not predicted to be around this area at all. We're predicted to be somewhere here, mid-table. I think it was 11th, I think it was. We are doing very, very well indeed. And we do lead 1-0 thanks to Hockenhull putting it in the back of the net. One of the few... Tranmere Originals. I say Tranmere Originals. I imagine they signed him from somewhere in real life. I'm not too sure. But one of the players who was here when we first joined, Phillips, is in here, and I'd love him to bury it. And he goes and buries it. 6th goal of the season. Josh Phillips. That'll do plenty. Apaya Forson's name is highlighted. I assume he got the assist. I'm sure we'll find out in the highlight that I was wrong. Let's see. No, it is Apaya Forson. Gets out there playing as a ball-winning midfielder, but still has a bit of passing nous about him. Big ball over the top. Lovely ball to run onto for Phillips. I like it when it's into space like that. That's what we want to do. We don't want to be trying to get it to the players' heads unless it's Zach Emerson. Zach Emerson having a really good game, by the way, but it is Josh Phillips who makes it 2 goals to 0, and I'm very happy about that. Again, puts us second. Peterborough currently in first. Having a lovely, lovely time, the pair of us. And 2-0 it is at half-time. It's the danger scoreline. Because, you know, 2-0, it can be easily turned around. But we're not going to let that happen, are we? I'm going to tell you to do that. No one's on the yellow card. We'll just carry on. They ain't broke, don't fix it. Their woes look like they're going to continue. They're currently on 6 points. Their nearest team was Sheffield Wednesday, but apparently it's Leyton Orient now, who got promoted last season on 13 points. So they are adrift by not an unassailable amount, but it's certainly an amount at this point early in the season. Cottrell looking for Phillips. Phillips has got to be offside there. It's a wonderful header. I can see the assistance flag has gone up, and it has been disallowed for offside. I thought it was a country mile offside. This is where I'm going to find out it's... I mean, he is well offside, but it's not as far as I thought. I didn't see this chap down here, but it is going to just be the 2 at the moment. Phillips has his goal disallowed. Zach Emerson looks like he's not doing so well. I think we're going to take him off in a moment because that fitness is very worrying and I don't want him to get injured. But then we do have the one striker system. Oh, no, let's just not jinx it, shall we? Right, Lyons Foster heads it down to Apaya Forson. Apaya Forson looking for Phillips. Phillips breaks away. I don't know if it hit Holding or whether it hit the back of Phillips' head. Either way, he didn't manage to break through, which is concerning. And Holding now launching it forward, looking for one of his teammates. Can't find him. Knight to Apaya Forson. Apaya Forson now looking for players to pass to. Goes out to Lyons Foster. Lyons Foster going to try and whip the ball in, or is he going to pass it? No, pass it to Hockenhull. Launches it looking for Phillips. Gets it to him. Phillips into Emerson. And Emerson forces the save. And I'm not going to wait any longer before we take Zach Emerson off. He is indeed injured. So it's going to be Tommy Lee as a pressing forward who's going to come on. Do we make any other changes? I don't think we will. I think we'll leave it at that for now. We'll trust the boys that are out there. They can do enough of a job. I'm not really happy with Tommy Lee being a bit complacent there, but it is what it is. We'll just have to deal with it. And we don't. Oh, we do get the highlight. Cottrell's going to whip it in. He's going to look for the head of Hockenhull again. Hockenhull just heads it wide or over. I couldn't quite tell there, but it hits one of the parts of the net, and it is going to be a goal kick. It's launched forward. Fisher for Port Vale doesn't win it. Phillips knocks it down to Ben Knight. Ben Knight gets it out wide to Bristow, who's starting to pick up a little bit, which I'm very happy about. Not having the best game today, but he had a good game last time out, which was nice to see. Bristow getting it all the way back to Jake O'Brien into Cottrell. Remember, Jake O'Brien we signed towards the end of last season, didn't really use him until the last few games when we were running out of players, and it really worked out for us because he's a good player. Phillips really bottles that chance, and he does that every now and then. He gets himself into a golden position and just does something inexplicable like that. And it is very frustrating, and I'm not much of a fan of it. But I'll allow it because he's been such a good player for us when we've needed him to be. Right, it's substitution o'clock. I think we are going to rest a few players. Sam Barnes, again, we're going to take off because he's played a lot of football for us recently. Give him a bit of a rec. Pakpay can come on. He'll play on the left-hand side of that 3. I'm tempted to bring on Finn back. We will actually bring him on for Lions Foster. Give him a bit of a break. He's had a good game. Deserves a pat on the head. And I'm thinking maybe Matty Daly for Cottrell. Possibly. Give Cottrell a little bit of a rest. And I'm thinking Ben Knight might come off towards the end. We might even move things around. We might keep him on and we might take off Phillips possibly and just give him a bit of a rest. Again, he scored today. He deserves a bit of a pat on the head and a bit of a rest. We are approaching the end of the game. I think 2-0 is going to be enough from here. Famous last words, I know. And I think I'm tempted to bring Balagizi on. I'm going to bring Balagizi on for Josh Phillips. And then we'll just change things over. Don't think we've actually used this front 3 yet, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we'll go with that. We'll make sure that he's playing in his preferred pressing forward role. We'll have Balagizi playing as a shadow striker because it's just going to be easier to have them all playing as shadow strikers, if I'm honest. But we'll do that, and we'll just try and see the game out from here. And hopefully, a clean sheet would be really nice. And I've probably jinxed it by saying that. But a clean sheet would be lovely. I mean, a third goal would be even lovelier. But we've got the clean sheet, and you know what? That's worth its weight in gold. And that is a good couple of games. I'm very, very happy with that. Very happy indeed. And that should consolidate us in second or third. It does consolidate us in second for now. Actually, with games in hand, oh, no, we could be overtaken. Actually, we could be overtaken by Plymouth. So we could end up being third once everyone's played 14 games. But then we've got a 14th game in hand as well. So maybe, just maybe, we could consolidate third place. It's not third place, second place. Stu, work out what you're trying to say. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with that indeed. Looking at that league table, that is genuinely delightful. Okonkwo is now on the list of clean sheet leaders with 6 out of his games he's played. He's third on that list, which is impressive. Sam Barnes is now the best player in the league, which is ridiculous to me. He was the best player last season, though, and he's now the best player this season. And again, 8 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses. Joint least losses in the league from the looks of things. And we've only had a couple of draws. We either win or lose, which I really like. And we're joint. No, we're not. We're second or third, however you want to look at it, on the goal difference charts. It's Peterborough and Reading are joint first. We're third. What was that so difficult for me to work out? Oh, I need to lie down. But we are doing very, very well, and I'm very happy with that. Right. You know the question I'm going to ask. When are we going to be back? I genuinely can't imagine this run's going to go on. Again, that run of 5 games without a win makes me know that it's not going to be possible to keep up that form for the rest of the season. But we've won 5 on the bounce. 4 of those are in the league. Our next game is against Plymouth, who I think are very close to us up the top. They are 4th, so that is going to be a difficult one. So I think we're going to go with the idea that promotion is not going to be possible this season. So we are going to try and get through it a little bit quicker. I'm going to skip the month of November, and we're going to come back in and around League 1, unless we've got anyone else on this list of teams that we should be looking at. I mean, I missed Stockport County. That's on me. Obviously, we're not going to be playing Everton or Liverpool in case anything comes up. Wrexham aren't in this league, I don't think. Blackpool, well, Blackpool, they're in the Championship. Don't need to worry about them. I think we don't need to worry about any of those things. So, let's go through here. And then we'll come back in December. Maybe we'll come back for MK Dons, Cambridge United, somewhere in the middle there. And then we'll come back after that into February and stuff. And we'll work that out later. But that's the plan for now. Let's come back for in the middle of December and let's see how things are going at that point. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, please do not forget to leave a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any of the lovely Football Manager content that's to come in the future. I've been Stu, you guys have been awesome, and I will catch you in the next one. Cheers.